From the historic cities of Lisbon and Porto to the tiny cobbled villages of the north, the vast wine region to the wild Atlantic coast, there is certainly no shortage of beautiful places in Portugal. The capital of Lisbon rightly tops most travellers' Portugal bucket list. One of the prettiest cities in Portugal and in the whole of Europe, Lisbon is a mosaic of winding streets, open plazas, stunning churches, secret lookouts, all waiting to be discovered. There's beauty around every corner in Lisbon, whether it's the slightly ramshackle kind of glamour you find in historic Alfama, or the grand beauty of landmarks such as the Tower of Belém, one of the oldest of Portugal's 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. From browsing the racks at the oldest bookshop in the world for the perfect souvenir, to chowing down on pastéis de Belém custard tarts, or bar hopping in the trendy Barrio Alto, there's never a dull moment when visiting this vibrant place. The charming town of Sintra is nestled in the pine-covered hills of the Serra de Sintra Mountains west of Lisbon. Tourists come from all over the world to live out their fantasy of wandering through a fairy tale. The area is best known for its collection of castles, most notably the colourful Palácio Nacional de Pina and the more classical Quinta del Regaleira. It's one of the most distinct palaces anywhere in Europe. Pina especially can't be missed. Pretty as it is, there's a more serious history behind Sintra, including tales of how the nobility were forced to flee on the eve of the country's bloody revolution. The initiation well at the Quinta del Regaleira, a deep hole that resembles an inverted tower, has a dark side too. The design is said to reflect Dante's 9 circles of hell. The Algarve is home to some of the most beautiful sandy beaches in Portugal, and what is surely the country's most dramatically beautiful stretch of coastline. From the charming streets of Old Town of Lagos to the cliffy Ponte de Passade, its natural sea arches and rock formations frame picture-perfect Atlantic Ocean views. The Algarve may be popular, but there's a good reason for that. For those looking to get away from the tourist hordes, there are some stunning secluded beaches to be found, as long as you're prepared to do some off-track walking. Located inland from Faro and Portugal's Algarve coast, the tiny town of Astorga is a bit of a hidden gem. Its biggest attraction is the restored Palácio de Visconde de Astorga, a 19th century palace with a pretty pink rococo facade. Not all that long ago, the palace was in tatters after lying abandoned for several decades. It was recently renovated and relaunched as a luxury historic hotel. Also in Astorga, don't miss the Roman ruins of Milwaukee, which are located a short walk from the palace. Here you can view the remains of an ancient Roman villa, with vivid mosaics and columns that archaeologists have dated back to the 2nd century AD. Located in central Portugal, Oberdusk is considered by many to be the country's finest example of a traditional Portuguese wall town. With a history that dates back to Paleolithic times, Oberdusk has been shaped by centuries of Roman and Moorish influence. The cobbled streets of the historic centre rise and fall with the gently undulating hills the town is built upon, leading you through clusters of sweet whitewashed houses that huddle together under shared slate roofs. Sawtooth fortified walls loom in the background, enveloping Oberdusk like a shining jewel in the palm of a great rocky hand. The imposing limestone and marble castle has been turned into a posada, offering anyone who overnights in the plush rooms an unforgettable experience. In July, the annual medieval market takes over the old Arms Square, which was once used as a training ground for kings, squires and knights. Named for the mighty Douro River that cuts across the Iberian Peninsula, the Douro Valley has become one of the most coveted destinations in Europe for wine lovers in recent years. This exquisite landscape east of Porto, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, includes Baça de Alva, one of the oldest wine regions in the world. Grapes have been cultivated on these steep banks for centuries, and the area's heritage flavours everything, from the beautiful tiled railway station at Pinoi, which bears elaborate vine designs, to the old Rebelo boats carrying wine from the farms to the mouth of the river. The second largest city in Portugal may at first seem to resemble Lisbon in many ways, particularly in the architecture, riverside profile and hilly streets. A great alternative to the capital, Porto is a cultural beacon that shines just as bright and has just as much to offer visitors. One of the most beautiful sections of Porto is the riverside. Get an overview of the city on a boat trip before wandering the plazas and streets on foot, stopping off every now and then for a bit of local music and a glass of port wine. Porto's gardens, medieval castles, cathedrals and palaces are many and varied, each pretty in its own way. Situated within the district of Lisbon, Casais is a coastal settlement comprising of cute towns hemmed in by a striking coastline of cliffs and sea arches. Spots like the Boca do Inferno bear a resemblance to the rugged formations around Lagos and the southern Portugal's Algarve. Casais was made popular in the 1870s when King Louis I of Portugal chose this spot as his summer retreat. The area still has a feel of old world glamour and elegance about it, especially in the stunning palaces that dot the coastline. One of the most beautiful spots is in the City Hall Square, which is designed with typical Portuguese black and white paving and a mind-bending pattern that emulates rolling waves. The ancient city of Coimbra, home to one of Portugal's oldest institutions, served as the country's medieval capital for over 200 years and birthed no fewer than 6 monarchs. Elegant, learned and classically beautiful, it's more than worthy of a spot in your Portugal itinerary. Then there's Coimbra's ancient aspect, attached to the city's Gothic structures and Moorish fortifications, to which many tales and legends are attributed. Enjoy an authentic Portuguese dinner and watch an intimate fado performance before strolling through Coimbra at night. Lit up by candlelight lights against an inky blue sky, the city takes on a whole other kind of surreal beauty. The region of Azores is made up of 9 islands located off the coast of Portugal and North Africa. Known for their dramatic landscapes and outdoor activities, the Azores serve as a dedicated destination for nature tourism. Each of the 9 islands, spread over 600 kilometers from Corvo to Santa Maria, is of volcanic origin. Extinct craters and basin-like lakes, towering waterfalls and hiking paths set atop verdant ridges are some of the most recognizable landscapes associated with the Azores. São Miguel, the biggest and most beautiful of the Azores Islands, features several pretty whitewashed towns and ruins to explore. Seated in the foothills at an elevation of 760 metres and completely surrounded by formidable fortress walls, Sotela has managed to retain its medieval appearance even to this day. A series of castles built across the borders provide a clue as to this area's strategic importance to defend the border east of Guarda. The entrance to Sotela is via a Gothic gateway. Gaze up at the balcony from where projectiles were hurled at those who dared to attack the village. Inside, streets, plazas, houses and the castle all conform to a similar shade of stone, a strategic decision that adds to the town's low-key profile. Walking through the quiet streets is like treading on the cobblestones of history. Not only is this one of the prettiest places in Portugal, it's also one of the most historically captivating, with all the charm of a medieval hamlet. Spread over 100,000 hectares, Serra da Estrela National Park is a place of exceptional beauty. The first and largest national park in Portugal is a must-visit for hikers and nature buffs. The park's geographical isolation has produced a rich flora and fauna, resulting in the designation of biogenic reserve status, while the high elevation means conditions are cool year-round, ideal for hiking. Trails of varying difficulty thread their way through the park's glacial valleys, green meadows and rocky outcrops, leading visitors to one stunning viewpoint after another. Capital of the northern Minoy region, Braga was once the seat of the Romans and is steeped in architectural treasures and ancient history. The city's biggest drawcard is the iconic Bom Jesus de Montpensier, fronted with a stunning set of 630 zigzagged steps. While visiting the 3rd largest city in modern-day Portugal, don't miss Cnbraga Cathedral, the country's oldest. The golden interior and the various side chapels, one of which holds the mummified remains of Dom Lorenzo Vicente and the tomb of Archbishop Geraldo, are more than worth the ticket price. Located in the rich agricultural Minoy province, Amarante straddles the river Tomaga. Countless restaurants and cafes have sprung up to take advantage of the picturesque water views, with the arched stone bridge, Pont Sombra Tomaga, reflected in its glassy waters. The Tomb of Sao Gonzalo, the town's revered saint, lies in the chapel of the church by the same name and shouldn't be missed. Dating back to the 4th century BC, Amarante is all charm and yet another fairy tale-like beauty in Portugal. Capital of Portugal's southern central Argento region, Evora is the kind of city whose beauty grows and grows the more you learn about it. Avora has one of the oldest and most interesting histories of any town or city in the country. A member of the most ancient European towns network, it's home to one of the world's oldest universities, the University of Avora, which was founded in 1559. The heart of downtown is built around the ancient Roman Temple of Avora, also known as the Temple of Diana, and it's this structure's columns that frame the Avora of today. A Gothic cathedral, Baroque architecture, whitewashed houses built under the arches of an old aqueduct, and finally the strange yet beautiful in its own way Chapel of Bones are among the other things to see here. The Alcental countryside around Evora holds yet more beauty in its olive groves, fortified villages and sun-bleached plains. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. I will be adding new videos weekly. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Diolch.